What's up, YouTube? We're gonna do a little talk, kind of going off of what we talked about last video about when I got robbed. So now that I got on that, I think I want to keep talking about that. I want to keep on going off of that. I want to talk about not what I was going through, but kind of like what I was back in the day. So we ain't gonna start off in no high school. We already did my high school, and I played football, blah blah blah, right? Let's go to when I was out of high school, like just fresh out of high school. Not fresh, but I was 19. So we do know about the time I got robbed. So let's just let's talk about how I got to Virginia. I guess that's what I'll do. Let's talk about how I got there, because I mean that's significant, how you got there. That's important in itself. How you got to Virginia in the first place. So let's say, okay, I graduated high school, was in a lot of bullshit in my hometown, you know what I'm saying? Fucking with the wrong people, home life wasn't, my mother wasn't like, yeah, you can stay home forever, you know what I'm saying? It's not how I was raised. I wasn't raised to, yeah, you can stay home until you figure it out. No, it was figure it out. So, start, staying with a lot of friends, going to people's houses. Usually people that graduate high school, they get that last little hoorah before they become grown-ups. I didn't get that. Mine was instantly figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Go with your friends or go whatever, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ever want to really be home anyway, so mine was mostly go with my friends, drink, trying to hang out. My mother was more of get a job, stop trying to have fun. So that was what it ended up being. More about trying to figure it out. So while I'm over my friends bullshitting, I'm just hearing word of mouth, oh, I'm going to military, I'm going to military, And I kind of previously wanted to join the military, but the the people that I was friends with at that time around high school was going to Marines, but one of my friends ended up dying, right? He ended up getting killed. So that was out the window. Everybody I knew then that wanted to go kind of backed out. They didn't want to do that shit no more. So, what happened was a lot of people that I was around at that time, at this time, was kind of in the mode of let's go to the Navy. I was going to the Marines with the other friend group, but this friend group was like, let's go to the Navy. Well, I'm going to the Navy. So I was like, oh, for real? How do you get in the Navy? And he was like, well, I got a recruiter. We can talk. He can talk to you and you figure it out. So that's what I did. I started talking to the recruiter, figured out what I had to do for the ASVAB and all that stuff. And got all my information, my ID, and everything that I needed to get in. And that's what I did. And End up getting in, going through boot camp, you know, real big story behind boot camp. Go through boot camp, meet a couple of people. So now here I am. Fast forward, I'm in Virginia, you know. Like I said previously, I was more of a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take nothing serious. I wasn't really like, oh, you know how people be like, thanks for your service. I usually go, thank you, you know, you're welcome and all that. But in my mind, I was like, man, I was not nowhere near thinking about a service, you know, while I was in the military. I was just in there. I wasn't going, oh man, I'm doing a service, and I wasn't thinking that way. So in my mind, I didn't really look at the military as me performing a service for anybody. I was looking at it as just to escape, just to get away and somewhere I could make money, hang with friends, and possibly, you know, kind of ease myself into adulthood. And that's what I did. Used it to, you know, used it as a point of reference to being an adult, when in all actuality I wasn't. You know, I was not an adult at that time. I was just a grown kid, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out, man. And in the end, you know, I ended up paying for that. Not really paying, but you know, as any young adult, they all go through the learning stage of growing up, man. And that's what I had to do. I had to grow up. And that's what I did. I grew up fairly fast in, you know, United States military by being around a lot of older men that would tell you straight up, you know, if you was doing wrong, if you was wrong, or if you was fucked up. And that's what I did. I just put a lot of my time into trying to be in the military, and I think I did 2 good years. After my 2 good years, I just gave up, man, because I wasn't really getting what I thought out of it, what I wanted, you know. What I wanted was companionship. Well, I actually had it. I'll take it back. I did get companionship, but I got a lot of I got too much companionship. Let's put it like that. I got too much, which means the people that I was cool with was very cool people, you know, and it made me rethink, oh man, I don't need to be in here. I can live my life, get a regular job, and hang with these people. I was just all fucked up in the head, you know. I wasn't thinking right, and I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to be doing, you know. I was doing a lot of bullshitting, a lot of pump faking, man, and now that I look back, a lot of the bad that was happening to me was mostly my fault. You know what I'm saying? It was all mostly my fault. Now, that's growing up, though. That's when you grow up and you look back and you go, a lot of bad things and shit that happened to you, man. Shit that I used to go, man, I didn't do nothing, and they just picking on me, and they just doing this and that to me. A lot of it was my fault. If we're being honest, a lot of it was my fault, man, and I can admit that now. Start fucking up, you know, meaning unauthorized leaves. Meaning, if anybody knows what that means in the military, you would just not go to work. They called it UA, which is unauthorized, but it's unauthorized leave, meaning you just go and just act like you ain't going to work. Like, the military is not a job, it's your life. And for anybody that's ever thinking about going, don't ever look at it that way. Military is your life. You have to wake up, go to sleep, live, eat, sleep, and shit the military, man. So if you ain't ready to do that, do not go. You'll be miserable. And I kind of was, you know, I was miserable. And what I did was I fucked around and fucked off all the time, you know. And it put me in bad situations, real bad situations of being UA, being on restriction, being on the ship. I can't get off, you know, we dock, I can't get off. 45-day restriction, 45. I remember that was me, man. Everybody called me UA because I would only go to work when I felt like I needed to. Like, man, I'm gonna go to work, man. Ain't shit going on. And I got in a lot of trouble over that. A lot of trouble. And what happened was, it just, you know, it was real repetitive, man. I just kept getting in trouble, right? And the last 2 years was nothing but bullshit, you know? I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was fucking off and not going to work and missing deployments, all type of shit, man. I was fucking up. And I squeaked through my last 2 years. And once I got through it, I'm gonna go over here, Mike Lennox, and post up. I squeaked through, made it by the skin of my teeth, bro. And that's how I ended up, like, kind of on my own, because a lot of my friends stayed in. And they kind of went a whole different path than me. And you know, what I did was I didn't chase a girl. It wasn't about like chasing the girl. It was more of just trying to be a civilian and then still live like a military. Because don't get me wrong, military is a privilege. That is a big privilege because you can eat, sleep, and get paid to do your normal life. And that's what I did. And I tried to balance military and regular life. And you can't do that. That's almost impossible. You can't be a civilian and in the military at the same time. So what I did is I got out after my last 2. You know, my 4 was up. You want to go back in? Nope, don't. Got out. Signed my papers and everything, and I was gone. And in my mind, I'm thinking this is like high school. I'm finally free. You know, I'm finally free to do what I want. Prior to me getting out, let's jump to, and I'm gonna skim past this, but prior to me getting out was around the time I got robbed. So the reason I was over my girlfriend's mother's house is because I couldn't go back to the boat because I was UA, which is unauthorized leave. So being UA, I'm staying over at her mother's house. She knows that something's up and fishy about me. Why don't you go back to the boat? Why don't you go back to the boat? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm bullshitting her. So that's why I was unwelcome, if y'all watched that video. So being unwelcome, unauthorized from the military, her mother kind of knows it. What I do is go out. For some reason, they would always keep paying me. They never cut off my pay. So I would still be getting, that's why a lot of times I kept going UA, is because I kept getting paid. That's crazy. Now that I think about it, that's why I never wanted to go back, because I was still getting paid like I was in the military, and I wasn't. So what I did was stay gone as long as I got paid. As soon as that pay cut off, I would go back. So I was still getting paid, so I was going out, and I ended up getting robbed one weekend, me being UA. And I I finally went back, did everything I had to do, which is I had to work, but I had to be stationary. I couldn't be on the ship no more. So I was on the base and I had to work, clean floors, a lot of bullshit, a whole lot of bullshit. And once I got done with that, I just kind of stopped. I didn't have an ID either. I didn't have an ID. So let's put it like that. I have no ID. All I had was a military ID in which it's expired now. Hopefully I can't get in trouble for this, but I snuck my military ID. I acted like, I lost it. And so I kept my ID when I got out. Everybody was supposed to turn it in. But prior to you getting out, they tell you, go get your ID. Trust me, I was a fuck up, y'all. I was a fuck up. I already had this in my mind. I'm not turning this in. I'm using this ID until it expires. So what I did was sneak that out, right? I snuck the ID, and then I just fucked off. I couldn't find a job. It was hard for me to get a job. It was just hard, man. So what happened was my, at the time, girlfriend, which we ended up getting married later, her mother or sister got us an apartment. When she got us that apartment, we moved, me and her was up and down, 19-year-olds trying to be together. Met her 19. I met her when I was 18. So 18 up until 22, we up and down. We rocky as fuck. And me and her fought a lot. All type of shit, police and everything. We was good together, but we was horrible together. She's like one of them people. She could be my best friend, and we would argue all the time and be able to make up like nothing happened. It was toxic. I had my fair share of toxic relationships, which that's why I'm the way I am now. So what happened was I got out of that relationship and started trying to make it as a civilian, and failed. Horribly. And what I did was we moved in together in this apartment and did no shit, didn't have no car insurance. My car wasn't paid off. That's another fucking thing. I never even thought. My car wasn't even paid off. It was getting pulled from my account because I was in the military. It was getting pulled from my Navy account. I ended up getting out the Navy, but I got that car just before I got out the Navy with my Navy account saying, yeah, I'm gonna resign. I'm going back in. And I didn't. And I got this car right at the end. And once I got that, I was just like, all right, I'm good. I can get around. Didn't have no money, nothing. I got a car. Let me figure it out. Couldn't pay for it. Just complete mess. And I tried to make it in Virginia, and I didn't. Ended up having to come back here to Kentucky to live with my friends. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I just wanted to get that part out while I'm sitting over in the shade, because it's a little hard. Sometimes it's hard to really think while you're riding. But now I moved back to Kentucky. Now, we fighting around this time. We barely even gonna make it. We already talk like we done. Like you leave, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was saying. I was sad. She was sad, but we wasn't like that sad because we already knew that we was both toxic together. And we just came up with that plan. And so that's what I did. I just went back to Kentucky, Louisville, and I got a job. That's just what happened. I couldn't really find a job, ended up losing the job. I got a job there, and I was doing okay. Now, I wasn't really doing much, but I was doing okay. Trying to pay bills. Got because, you know, we was months and months without lights. I got a job at this movie place. I think it's called Movie Scene. And so, let me tell you how I fucked this up. I was at Movie Scene, right? So, while I'm at Movie Scene, you know, I keep having to say I was a fuck up, but it's already spelled out I'm a fuck up, right? I shouldn't have to keep repeating it. But I was, right? So, I'm working at Movie Scene, and what I did was I would work the cash register, right? And while working the cash register, this is foul, man. You can zero things out. You know, I don't know if anybody knows that. You can zero the things out. And I'm actually admitting to this now. Like, I was doing this stuff and then trying to play it off like, oh man, they fired me for nothing, you know. This is me admitting this shit. I would zero the stuff out. Of course, you do it so much. You know, you zeroing out Cokes and zeroing out candy, zeroing out all type of shit, you know. After a while, it adds up, right? The store goes, why all this stuff zeroed out all the time on this cash register? Who was working that day? Who put two and two together? Your dumbass me was doing it. Called me, fired me. Can't be zeroing this stuff out, blah, blah, blah. What the hell are you thinking? You know? And I'm trying to be oblivious. Oh, I didn't know. I thought, you know, I was doing this for this and that. Nah. I knew what I was doing. And got fired. So once I got fired, that was the final straw, you know. My girl was like, what the fuck? You know? Her being who she was, I think she went up there. I don't remember none of this. Maybe. But I think one of the arguments was she went up there and found out that I was stealing. Like, she was like, I went up there and I think so. She didn't trust me for nothing. Let's just put it like that. She didn't trust me. She knew I was lying, right? Went up there. They must have told her. And when they told her, she probably came. I don't remember. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But I think that's what happened. I can see this happening. She went up there. They told her that I was stealing. And came back pissed. You was stealing. That's how you got fired. Blah, blah, blah. And reason all this was happening because I was just so much of a fuck up. Nobody trusted nothing I said, right? So she found out. And when we got in that fight, I was like, well, fuck it then, I'll just leave, you know. I was just mad, I was pissed, and I fucking stomped on the table, broke the glass on the table. I was pissed, I was mad because she found out I was a piece of shit, which, now that I look back, I was. How can you not know? You know what I'm saying? How can you not know I was? All the shit that I was doing. And when I got pissed, I left, right? I was like, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. I'm gonna call my friend, I'm going to him, he got a job, I ain't staying here, right? So that's what I did. Left. Came back home. Well, that's it, YouTube. See y'all on the next one, man. We're gonna keep the series going, bro. We're gonna talk about what happened in your boy life, man. Get to know me a little bit. Get to know Weezy. That's what we're gonna call this series, man. Get to know Weezy, bro.